I want to bring up one of the biggest professional wrestling hot takes of all time that people don't want to talk about. And that professional wrestling hot take is literally these topics. I saw a comment on social media the other day stating, why did Bret Hart still work for the WWE after the death of Owen Hart? Also, a lot of fans don't want to forgive Triple H for the death of Chyna, although some fans are pretty cruel, talking about Triple H had nothing to do with it. So I'm going to tell y'all the reasons of these hot takes being bestowed amongst my presence and me mentioning them to you all. Simply put, money. The love of money is the root of all evil. Let me tell you something. If it was somebody I really, really cared for, no amount of money, no amount of anything would make me support a company or a business or a franchise that literally killed them and continued the show. First of all, Shawn Michaels was a big time asshole back in the day. Shawn Michaels was one of the biggest pricks backstage. He was a fucking narcissist. He had a God complex to him. He did not want to be pinned by Bret Hart. Therefore, when Bret Hart lost the match at the Montreal Screwjob in Canada, Bret was pissed. And Bret left the company. First of all, despite all the bullshit you've been through, that right there shouldn't have been the red flag to leave. The red flag to leave should have been the death of your brother. I don't care about the time span of Owen's death or anything. No matter what, you see that this company don't give a fuck about you. So why leave it? Why leave the company? Why support a company that treats you like shit? And I love the fact that I'm a professional wrestling fan because I like AEW. Because AEW do have Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And when you win the tournament, you get to keep a trophy title. And also you get to face a world champion of your choice. I like that. I like that at NXT at the Dusty Rhodes tournament. Although I haven't seen it in a minute. Make a long story short, a lot of these great people have great tournaments amongst each other. Mae Young Classic, great. Mae Young was a fabulous person. Yet, Moolah was a horrible bitch. Another good hot take that I did not mention in my podcast is Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan being racist. And yet fans still love Ric Flair. Fans still love Hulk Hogan. WWE tries to shove Hulk Hogan down our throat and everything. But we'll talk about Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and even people like Booker T in a later podcast episode if I get subs on my YouTube channel and get a lot of shares and plays and comments on this podcast episode and YouTube video. But that's neither here nor there right now. Now, when it comes to Owen Hart, I just don't like the fact that WWE mistreated him, didn't give a shit about him, barely gave this dude a ceremony, haven't put him in the Hall of Fame or anything. Now, I could see if it was Chris Benoit or somebody, but Owen Hart didn't do shit to deserve that. Many people say that his wife doesn't want that to happen. This, that, and the fourth. Many people say Bret don't want that to happen. But like I said, if it's somebody I love, I don't give two shits about the company. This company mistreated Owen Hart. This company mistreated the Hart family. And it just sucks. It sucks. Even the descendants of the Hart family, WWE mistreats. Natalya has a world record of the most matches or the most wins or losses in the WWE. Yet Natalia isn't a serious champion. She's not a 15-time or 14 or 13-time, 12-time, whatever amount of titles Charlotte Flair has won. She's not up there with Charlotte Flair. She's not up there with Trish Stratus. She's not up there with Rhea Ripley. When you think of the 10 most greatest wrestlers of all time, or or the top 5, many people won't put Natalia on that list. Although Natalia is legitimately a very great wrestler who came from a really good school, which was one of the best wrestling schools of all time next to the Von Erich School. Not no LFG, not no Reality of Wrestling, not no Tough Enough. None of those are the Performance Center. And I'm not knocking all of those schools, or programs, but the Hart Foundation was like super tough. Like the way the Hart Foundation was, it was simply kind of like when you watch those movies, the martial arts movies, and they got that extensive training, or when you watch the Rocky movies or the Creed movies, they had an extensive training can make you like badass. So you go through mental you go through mental tests, you go through physical tests, you go through a lot. You go to intense training. So for a professional wrestler like Natalia to not be a world champion or a legitimate threat, which she is a legitimate wrestler, which she is better than a whole bunch of these women's wrestlers, it sucks. So first off, the Hart family ain't getting treated right at all. So I just don't like the fact that WWE, after fucking 20 plus years, 25, 26, 27 plus years, hasn't gave a fuck about Owen Hart. But I appreciate them giving AEW the blessing to have an Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Although I feel, scripted wise, I know wrestling's fake. Although I feel that it should be a good guy to win the title. It shouldn't be like nobody like Mercedes Moné that don't give a fuck about the business winning. And it's not about, oh, you're just a mark, da 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 da. You just a Mercedes hater. No, I'm real. I'm blunt. Mercedes Moné don't give a shit about the company. Mercedes Moné has walked out the WWE because she didn't have her way. And when I think of Owen Hart, I think of a really, really great character because Owen Hart ate a lot of shit dealing with the WWE. He had the Nation of Domination gimmick. He had the Blue Blazer gimmick. WWE was burying his man, like literally burying his career, making him into a bad character. I shit you not. God's my witness. I swear to my life. If Owen Hart didn't die, WWE would have released him and they would have buried him. They would have made a mockery out of him. Then Owen Hart probably would have went to a rival company and got really, really good, really, really great. He would have been better than Brett. And whoop-de-doo, WWE would have bought him back. Or WWE probably didn't see the potential in him. They probably wanted to just see Brett. But at the end of the day, WWE didn't care about the Hart family at all. Because look at what's his name? D.H. Smith. One of my favorite tag teams back in the day was D.H. Smith and Tyson Kidd. A lot of people may not remember that tag team. And D.H. Smith got released. Tyson Kidd was in multiple tag teams. And he's back working backstage. Tyson Kidd was a great wrestler. He's a really good technician. He did come from the Hart School. He's married to Natalia, and he was a pretty great wrestler. But even during the time, I remember they was going to push him in NXT, and they started burying him. And if you just think about it for a second, WWE likes to bury a lot of talent that's associated with the Hart family. Yeah. All right. That's that hot take. Second hot take in 3, 2, 1. All right. So second hot take is Chyna. Chyna was one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time. She's for sure on my top 5 of all time. Simply because I grew up watching WWF. I grew up watching wrestling after school. I grew up watching the Attitude Era. I grew up watching Chyna with Eddie Guerrero, Chyna with DX, Chyna with X-Pac. I grew up watching Chyna whooping ass. She was a serious threat. She was very strong. She had that masculine feature to her. And I remember in school, they used to thought she was a transgender, thought she was a man, this, that, and the fourth. Then I used to be one of those kids say, nah, she's strong as hell, bro. She works out. Don't be sexist. She's a really great wrestler, which to me, she was. I'm not jumping on a bandwagon. I don't jump on bandwagons. I don't jump on bandwagons. When a new wrestler, a new artist come out, or anybody's being pushed, I don't jump on a bandwagon and say, oh, I always knew that they were going to be great. No. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't think they had it in them. Or, oh, I'm not a fan of them, but kudos to them. But Chyna was my childhood. I remember when she won the Intercontinental Champion. I remember when she was feuding with Jeff Jarrett. I remember a lot. And I remember Stephanie McMahon being Mr. McMahon's daughter. I remember when Stephanie was being called a fucking slut, a fucking whore. I also remember when Vince was a commentator. At the end of the day, I remember Chyna. I remember her being really good in the ring. I remember her being entertaining. I remember her being the enforcer of D&D Generation X. I loved Eddie and Chyna. We see Eddie and Chyna when we see Rhea Ripley and Dominic. Chyna is a really good wrestler. She was a very strong wrestler. When you think of strong women, 3 women come to your mind. Chyna, Charlotte Flair, and Jade Cargill. And Jade Cargill barely been in the business for 5 or 6 years. And she's up there to me with Chyna. Because you're a strong woman, you're athletic, and you're talented in the ring. And like I said, despite what I feel, I still put Chyna on my list. And I put Charlotte Flair on my list because Charlotte Flair, despite her dad being an asshole in the races, she's a great wrestler. She just needs to get talent pushed. But regardless of that, it just sucks. Just imagine, think about this for a second. Just visualize this, people, for you people that's haters of Chyna. Imagine if you found a love of your life. Your parents met them. You live in life. Maybe you're going through something mentally. But when you find your love and you find the love of yourself, you're like, man, I love myself. I love my life. I love my man. You good. Then you're getting pushed to the moon. Then you're doing really, really good. And you like, you that bitch. You selling out merchandise. Fans is lining up to see you. Venues are sold out to see you. Everything. Just visualize it. You live an American dream of just making that money, being famous, being popular, making it out of nothing and becoming something great. Then out of nowhere, somebody comes to ruin your life. Somebody comes and steal your man. And I'm going to tell y'all something about the WWE. They don't give a shit about your personal life. Look what happened. Let's fast forward. Think about it. Look what happened to Matt Hardy and Lita and Edge. They literally made a cheating angle into a storyline and made it into a match. I thought that was very tacky of the WWE to do that. And Matt Hardy was pissed, and I think Edge didn't want to do it, or Lita. Well, probably Lita. Now look at Matt Hardy and Edge. Matt Hardy and Edge both have beautiful families. They have both of them have beautiful kids and everything. But Lita wasn't that credible like Stephanie McMahon. If Stephanie McMahon dated Matt Hardy or Edge or something, their careers probably would have skyrocketed 10 times better. So what I'm trying to say is, no matter what, you married the boss's daughter. You married a billionaire's daughter. Therefore, your career is going to be pushed anyway because your dad likes the dad likes you and the daughter likes you. And Triple H didn't give a fuck, nor Chyna gave a fuck. I mean, not Chyna. Triple H didn't care, nor Stephanie McMahon cared. Therefore, Chyna's career was pretty much over. Chyna's career was kind of different, but it wasn't like how it used to be. It wasn't like how it used to be. And like I said, there's a lot of things happen. Nobody's perfect. Chyna wasn't perfect. Triple H ain't perfect. I ain't perfect. You ain't perfect. Nobody's perfect. But what if they didn't break up? And even if they did break up, If they naturally broke up, like natural people do, break up without getting cheated on, then things would be all right. But again, another pro wrestling hot take I want to talk about that's similar to this story. Corey Graves cheated on his wife. Then, weeks later, he dated Carmella. He got married to Carmella, and WWE acknowledged that Corey Graves and Carmella is married. At the end of the day, man, this company don't give a shit about you. This is something I deal with at my regular job. My regular 9-to-5 job, or with my regular job that I want to leave. This is why I podcast. That's why I damn near beg for subscribers and shit for my YouTube channel and everything. Is because I really need this. I don't want to work. I want to do something mentally that makes me happy. Whatever. Anyways, that shows you that the company don't give a fuck about you. For Corey Graves to just be a fucking commentator to get married to Carmella, it just sucks. This man had a whole wife and he cheated on her. And the company condoned it. Similar to Sammy Guevara proposing to his wife in the ring and marrying another lady that got cheated on. Sammy Guevara cheated on his wife. And with him cheating on his wife, he married somebody. He proposed to his wife in the ring. I went to the AEW taping. I went to the AEW Dynamite at Fertitta Center in Houston, Texas. This was the day before I actually met Sammy Guevara. I actually have a photographic evidence where I met him. I met him at Walgreens or CVS. Anyways, I remember he proposed to his wife. She said yes. Then weeks later or months later or a year later, he cheated on his wife and then married Ty Conti. So at the end of the day, man, I do believe in karma. Because you really don't see Carmella on TV no much. You really don't see Ty Conti on TV as much. Stephanie and Triple H have grown. I do give them that. But I just think it's fucked up on how they did Chyna. I really feel like she deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. And I feel like Owen Hart deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. But with rumors of Vince McMahon supposedly coming back, oh boy, we're fucked. But at the end of the day, y'all, like, share, and comment on my videos. I would deeply, deeply appreciate that. I get a lot of views on videos on my shorts, or a few views on videos on Instagram or TikTok about wrestling and this, that, and the fourth. But I just don't get subs. Again, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks and have a great day.